What's up, my little dirtbags? Welcome to the spring series, where we're going to be building a garden right by the pallet cabin for as cheap as we possibly can. Today, we're going to be building a P-trellis out of these rusty mattress springs that I found in the woods. But first, we've already done a few things, so I think we need to rewind and get you guys caught up. A few weeks back, my mom came out to the old Dirtbag compound, and we decided to go check out this blueberry farm that was closing down and see if we could get a couple plants for super cheap. We were able to dig them up ourselves and only paid $11 a piece, so it was a really good deal. And I've decided I'm going to plant them back in this scrubby area where there's really nothing going on. The soil's already really good here, which is great, but this area is technically wetland, so if you rat me out to the county, you can't come to my birthday party. Wow, that's really petty. If you guys have been following the shorts content up to this point, you know that I'm calling this thing a victory garden. If you guys don't know what a victory garden is, I've got one word for you: Google. Wow, we're feeling sassy today, huh? Here's a quick history lesson on victory gardens a la ChatGPT. A victory garden was a small vegetable garden popular in World War I and World War II, grown by everyday people to help with food shortages and support the war effort. These gardens popped up in backyards, city parks, even empty lots, anywhere where people could find a space. It was a way for everyday people to pitch in, stay healthy, and feel like they were making a difference. Wow, America. Basically, the government was like, yo, we're going to war, so you guys are on your own, good luck. I'm using the term because it feels kind of satirically appropriate, but if you're a historian and you're feeling a little spicy, feel free to hop in the comments and poke holes in my vision. Just don't be mean, okay? All right, enough of that. We got the blueberries in. Let's move on to the next thing. It wouldn't have felt like a dirtbag garden if I didn't build some pallet beds. So last week I slapped some of these small guys together and I filmed it, made a tutorial. So if you're interested in how to do it or you want some inspiration, check it out. There's a card in the right-hand corner or a link in the description. I already filled one of these up with a little mixture of things that I found around the property, but I was able to get a great deal on some compost from a local farm. They filled my trailer up for 35 bucks. Come on. I know a deal when I see one. I'm a dirtbag, not a dumb bag. But there's a specific technique I want to go through here, so let's talk about it. Look at that shit. I just want to roll in it. Ugh.
For any of you guys who don't know what this technique is, it's called a Hugle Culture, used by a guy, I believe his name is Sepp Holzer. I think he is from Sweden or Switzerland or something like that. The basic idea is that you fill the bottom of your beds with a bunch of woody debris, and then over the course of a couple of years, this wood will break down and start to absorb a lot of moisture and can reduce the amount of watering that you have to do. I've built these beds in the past and they definitely do work. But it's not really something you want to do in a place where you're only going to be for a short period of time, because it can take about a year or two before it really starts to have a beneficial effect. Usually when I build stuff, I like to think about longevity, so I'm just going to do it anyway. Plus, it saves me a lot of money on filling this whole thing up with soil.
Jesus Christ, I almost fell asleep. That was so boring. But you guys get the point. You just put a bunch of wood in the bottom of the bed, and then you put some soil on top of it, and the wood...
Whoa, that was close. Almost nicked the hand.
What the hell, Jake? We need those things. Be careful. So the wood breaks down over time, the soil settles, it becomes a source of moisture and nutrition. You want to start with big stuff on the bottom, thin stuff on top, and if you're going to use these beds immediately, you want to leave yourself like a good 1.5 feet of soil on top of everything so you can plant right into it. After I got the wood in, I came through with some fill dirt and started covering all the cracks, shoving it into the corners, and creating a nice base that I could lay the compost on top of. You could put compost right on this, but I've got this really nice rat-infested compost pile that I'm kind of wanting to move because, you know, it's rat-infested. The compost needs a little more time, so I'm going to tuck it between the fill dirt and the soil layer. This will help everything break down the rest of the way, and I won't have to look at these old compostable Taco Time containers while gardening and be reminded of the choices I've made in my life. And just like your favorite family trauma, the final step is to put as many layers of something nice on top of that shit so that it appears as if it was never there. Oh, but you know it's down there, affecting everything, whether you want it to or not. Well, that's it for the garden beds, so let's move on to the trellis. If you guys follow the shorts, you might remember me finding this thing in the woods last week, and everybody told me I needed to make it into a P-trellis, so that's exactly what we're going to do. But we're not going to spend any money, okay? For the frame, I'm going to reuse the cutoffs from the sauna door. They're like the perfect size, and they're made out of cedar, so I think they'll be great for this. I lost my measuring tape somewhere in the yard, RIP, so I'm just going to be eyeballing most of this one. And my eyeballs spotted this nice triangle piece that I had from salvaging a roof structure about a year ago. I thought it was going to fit perfectly, and guess what? It did. The eyeball game is strong with this one. A couple screws in the corners to hold it all in place, and then I whipped out my super long, super hard, ribbed for her pleasure, nails that I had left over from building the pallet cabin. I think these are called pole barn nails or something. They are a pain in the ass to get in, but they really hold shit together. These mattress springs are actually pretty heavy, so I need this thing to be solid. I want the corners to be strong so that it doesn't fall over or just collapse in the wind. So I'm hoping this will do the trick. For the bottom part of the frame, I had this 2x3 from a super random salvage project at a theater, and it fit great. Just a couple nails in the sides and good to go. Attaching the springs was pretty easy. I used some pallet nails and pinned the springs to the top of the frame, then hammered the nail back so that it would trap the springs and keep it stuck on there. I worked my way around the perimeter, maybe 4 or 5 nails on each side, and tried to stretch the springs as tightly as I could. For some reason, I get stressed about jobs like this sometimes, and I don't really know why, because it seems to work just fine. It's like I forget sometimes that I'm a capable problem-solving adult with skills and stuff. But anyway, that's pretty much the first part of the P-trellis. We've got the mattress springs attached to the frame, and it seems to be holding the weight pretty well. This side of the pallet cabin is a little big and drab, so I'm going to put it here. It gets about half sun, so I think that should be good enough to grow some peas and pole beans and such. But Jake, what are we going to do for a garden bed? Well, I'm glad you asked. I'd like to introduce the wagon. This is a round-top caravan that my friend gave me after the roof blew off this winter and it got a ton of water damage inside. This summer, I'm going to be trying to rescue this thing and turn it into something cool, and the first episode just came out for Patreon and YouTube members, so if you'd like to subscribe and see it, go check that out. For now, I'm just going to repurpose the garden bed that's on the side of it because it kind of throws the weight off the wagon when you're towing it around. And after some delicate eyeball guesstimation, I was fairly certain it was going to fit this trellis perfectly. I got to address the elephant in the room. I'm sure you're noticing there's no luscious ASMR tickling your ears right now. And that's because my microphone turned off halfway through this build, and I did not notice till I looked at the footage later. Then I cried, alone, in a dark cave. Like a real man. So for now, because I don't really use music in my content, you're just gonna have to enjoy the subtle sounds of my dulcet tones walking you through each step of the process. Speaking of which, let's get back on track, Jake. Okay, so once I had the braces taken off, look how cute this dog is. Oh my God, I'm like a fucking squirrel. I had this really fun idea that I was going to use this log from the property to make 2 little feet that the bed could sit on. Not only would it make it look a little cute and whimsical, but it would also keep it from tipping over backwards once I attached the trellis to it. Once I had them cut to the right length, I came through and made a bunch of slits in the wood about 1 inch apart. Then I used this weird hatchet I have to chunk out and flatten that portion of the log. Once I had a pretty flat surface, I moved on to the next one and did the same thing. I can't believe you guys can't hear this right now. It was so satisfying, like a beaver sinking his teeth into a log on a summer day. I would be a beaver. Tell you what, I'd be a great beaver. The fit looked good, so I threw a couple screws in and locked everything down. We were pretty much good to go at that point. I noticed there was no drainage in the bed, so I grabbed my drill, popped a couple holes in it, and then I used the soil that was in there originally to fill it back up. And finally, it was time to put the trellis on. I was a little worried that it would just fall over, but it seemed to hold its weight pretty well. There was a little too much space on either end, so I used some of the cutoffs from earlier as spacers and then a bunch of nails and screws just to lock it in. And here we are, a completed P-trellis. Ready to go. One thing I really like about this is you can pick it up and move it around because it's one solid piece. So if this spot doesn't turn out very good, I can always just shuffle it around the yard till I find a nice area. I was not planning to do this project, but I'm kind of happy I did because I really like how it turned out and it was a lot of fun. I also feel really good knowing that I cleaned up these mattress springs from the woods because who knows how fucking long they were out there. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and there's a lot more to do, so stick around. I'll see you guys out on the Dirtbag compound.